Namaste and welcome to Path to Anandam series. Pains and miseries to happy, healthy and peaceful life with 108 mantras and Bhagavad Gita. Today it's a series number 4. I'm Satya Kalra, your host and Path to Anandam founder. Pranam to Guruji for your blessing and guiding for starting this session. With your help, with your guidance, and with your request, or I would say with your order, to ask me to write the books, and with your blessing, all these books and CDs are bestseller today on Amazon. We guide, help people how to be happy. So thank you very much for your blessing, and please continue to bless us. And we are all together here to receive your continued blessing. Today's series 4 is focused on Gita's verse 2:13 and 22, the journey of the soul. And we will be also using the book Lasting Forever, Birth, Death and Beyond, along with 108 mantras and Bhagavad Gita. In today's series, the session will be focused on body and soul, reincarnation, stories of some of the past lives to relate to it, and of course, the science and reincarnation to remove our doubts with some experiences and answer some questions. And our Sankalpa today, I am jivatma, I am eternal. And of course, the tip of the day, practice, practice, practice. That's what this Bhagavad Gita's teachings are. Applied Bhagavad Gita teachings in daily life to enhance the quality of our life. And everybody's favorite, meditation. So we will start with our prayers as Arjuna did when Arjuna lost his heroism. And I call it when he became hero to zero. But he realized that he was in difficult situation, confused, fearful, and depressed, didn't know what to do. But he was so fortunate that he had a guide, friend, Lord Krishna, who is our friend as well. And he prayed to him and asked him to guide him. And here Arjuna became the student and Lord Krishna became his teacher. So we can all pray together with this verse as Arjuna, because we are all Arjuna, as we've talked about in the previous sessions, that our goal was to become Arjuna, not Dhritarashtra, who is a symbol of complaining, disheartening, crying all the time. And Arjuna, who was listening to Lord Krishna and following his advice. So let's all pray together to Lord Krishna. Karpanye dosho pahte swabhava paschami tvam dharma sammood cheta yache syani nishchitam bruhitan me shishyaste aham chadimam tvam prapanyam shishyaste aham chadimam tvam prapanyam, which means my heart is overcome by this weakness of pity. I have lost my composure. I cannot think straight. I am confused about my duty, what to do and what not to do. I am requesting you to tell me what is the best for me, what is good for me. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. Please guide me. So here Arjuna and Krishna, his divine company, who is a symbol of peace. Lord Krishna is a symbol of peace, and Arjuna is here in pieces. And Lord Krishna takes him step by step on this spiritual journey and uplifts him. That's why Gita is called the spiritual instruction manual for healthy, happy, and peaceful life. So here, Lord Krishna has become the teacher and guides him on this path from verses chapter 2:11 all the way to last verse, chapter 18, verse 66. So Lord Krishna starts his teachings right here. He has 574 verses, and this is his very first verse. He guides Arjuna, and through these 574 verses, he explains to him what is body, what is Atma, and how to ultimately experience and become Paramatma, merge with Paramatma, Supreme Soul. And through his first verse, he tells him not to grieve. And he says, Ashochane anvasochasvatam, pragyavadanscha bhashte, gatasunascha, nanu shochanti pandita. You are speaking like a wise man, like a pandit, but pandit, do not grieve for these kind of situations, for the dead or for the people who die, because they know the difference between body and soul. They know that they are jivatma, but Atma is everlasting. But this body goes through from body to from one body to another body. So this Atma carries on. This is called transmigration. So you are an individual soul made with body and Atma. The body dies This is called death, but Atma is everlasting. So he tells him, Dehino asmin yatha dehe komaram yovnam zara tatha dehantar prapti dhiras tatra namuhati. Just as the living entity, jivatma, continuously passes in the body from childhood to youth, to old age, during this life, similarly, Atma, soul, passes into one body to another body. The wise are not confused. Pandit are not confused. He's reminding him again, you are speaking like Pandit, but Pandit are not confused. So he's trying to uplift him and explain him this birth, death, and rebirth cycle, reincarnation. And also he explains him again here, see how the baby grows into a young and then adult and then old and then dies. And from death, he goes to another body. So we are all jivatma, made with jiva, body, and soul, atma. And this body is made with, due to our previous karmas, it's the cause and effect, the byproduct of cause and effect, which keeps changing every moment. And it is called sharira. It is subject to decay and die. Deha, burn after life. Sharira changes. That's why it is called subject to change and decay. Means it keeps changing. It is immutable. It is transitory. And it is a kavach. It is an archer for the spirit. The body is the temple, the moving temple for this spirit, this soul. So body is nothing but a cover for the Atma. But the Atma is the driving force. So where does one go after death? That's the question, we all have it. Because death is not the final destination. The journey of the soul continues even after death. This moving soul from one body to the next body, which is called rebirth, reincarnation, and it continues until we experience the supreme, that I am Satchit Ananda. I'm no different than God. And here is beautifully explained here again. I am not afraid of death because I do not believe in it. Why? Because it is just getting out of one car to another car. Beautiful analogy. There are many questions. Is reincarnation real? Have I lived before? Will I be born again? Why don't we remember our past lives? Are there any scientific facts? So let's start with scientific facts. Yes, there are many, many scientific facts because so much study has been done, so many publications, so much research has been done on this one, especially on the out-of-body experiences and also near-death experiences. Like, there are two stories that several of people, like individually when they were declared that they died during the surgery or on the surgical bench, and the doctor declares him dead. And then after a short while, they start breathing again. But when they come back to the consciousness or the conscious level, they explain again that they went to some tunnel. Here you can see as a tunnel here, or they see the things, but they saw the things while doctor was doing the surgery on him, what were the nurses doing, and how he was declared dead. And these are also called as a out of the body experiences, which there is a New York bestseller book, which is called Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. I have read this book about, I think, 20 years ago. And he explains, gives the examples. One of the girl, Catherine, who was going through some traumas and nightmares, and her life was very difficult. So she went to a psychiatrist, which is Dr. Brian Weiss, and he takes him to deep hypnosis. And he learns that during that hypnosis, she explains that in one of her life, how she was drowned. She explains the whole scene, that how she was drowned in the water, and that's why she had the phobia for water. In another life, she was constrained in a very small area, and she developed the claustrophobia. And so she had many traumatic experiences in her previous life, which were haunting us. And also she was experiencing a lot of nightmares. But the best part was that after the hypnosis and after she explains it, she was healed. And that was puzzling him. And then it puzzled him even more when she started explaining his life, his father name, and when his father died, and his daughter has been named after his father. So he was more puzzled, and finally he asked her, where is she getting that information? And she says she's getting from the souls, the angels, other lives. And that's where he started believing in. The other best example, which we can all relate to it, is the Dalai Lama, who is the 14th Dalai Lama. But when he was born, and he was only 2.5 years old, he started telling his mother he wants to go to Lhasa, to be the mutt where the other monks are. He just wanted to go there, and he kept insisting on it until he was age 5. But during that period, the Dalai Lama 13th was old, and he was about to die. He knew when he's going to die. So the other lamas start researching that who is going to be the next Dalai Lama. The tradition, it has to pass on. There has to be a reincarnated Dalai Lama. So they start searching for it. And then they identified through their psychic power that there is one little boy in one of the village. So they looked for him and they found him. But during that time, the Dalai Lama 13 died. And they showed Dalai Lamas all those belongings to this little boy. And he starts recognizing, and he says, this is my rosary, this is my robe, this is my cup, which I drink. So all those signs were there that he was the reincarnation of previous Dalai Lama. So they assigned him as a Dalai Lama, who is currently Dalai Lama 14. I had an opportunity to meet him in Rishikesh while my book, My Question and God's Answer, was being released. And he had a wonderful vibrations. And we all have some kind of stories heard, as well as we might have our own experiences. And some of the stories, as like Shri Ravi Shankar, he said he could recite the whole Bhagavad Gita by age of eight or 6. Some of them, other young kids, they could recite the whole Bhagavad Gita, or they play the tablas or music or dance, or some, they carry their previous skills with them, which we have all heard the stories. Not only that, we have seen them nowadays on social media also. So there are many signs one can recognize, whether there are some marks on the body, there are some, we meet somebody and then we say, oh, seems like I have already met this person before. And then we go to some of the places also and we experience that it seems like I have been there, or sometimes we have dreams of certain places where we have been there, or we go there and we don't know where those dreams are, but end up at one place many, many times. And there are many, many techniques now, like past life regression, hypnosis, meditation, where and this is a guided meditation where they take 1 to alpha waves, and there they can start recalling their previous lives. And there are many different techniques nowadays. And actually, I have taken one of the workshop, past life regression workshop, many years ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago. And I became a lot of aware things which I was experiencing, but I didn't know where it was coming. So I became very anxious about it, or very inquisitive about it. And I took that workshop. And it was amazing what I saw. I could relate to it. The things were happening in my life. And I can share one story with you, which there are many, many stories and there are many, many experiences, but one story I want to share with you. That at one time I went to Kashi. I think it was about 10 years ago or 7 years ago. And I wanted to visit Vishwanath Kashi temple. And there I had to go 2:30 in the morning. And at that time, there were small gullies, you have to go through it. And I knew someone. So that person, young boy, came to the hotel and we went there to the temple together. And at 4:30 in the morning, the darshans were over and we got out of the temple and came to the main road. And then he wanted me to go to the hotel because he had some other work to do. And I said, no, I want you to take me to this particular gully, which is a small road, narrow road. And after going through, we end up on a one ghat, bank of Ganga, where it was designated for cremation of the bodies. And on that particular ghat, there is a Amar Jyoti, they call it, that 24 hours that Jyoti is going on. Jyoti means light. And there is always some crimination is going on there. And there are like 84 crimination banks, Ganga, on the bank of Ganga. But this one was the main one. And I went there and I saw what was happening. And all of a sudden, I sat down on bank of Ganga, and I don't know what happened to me. But I went into trance, and all of a sudden, I saw my last rites of one of my life were performed here, and I was cremated. And I saw how they took my body to the Ganga with the white clothes on, and they just gave me a bath with the clothes, and then brought me back and put me on the fire and ignite the Jyoti over there. And still, when I think about it, I get goosebumps about that part. And basically, I learned that one of my lifetime I spent in Kashi. So there are many, many stories. And that's what Lord Krishna also explains here. He gives another analogy to Arjuna, that body is the garment of the soul. And he explains him that vasansi jiranani yatha vihai, navani grihati naro parani, tatha sharirani vihai, jinyani senti navani dehi. Means just as a person takes off worn clothes and puts the new one, similarly, the embodied soul cast off the worn out clothes and enter into a new physical body. Need to pay attention here. It says cast off the worn clothes, the old clothes, and enter into a new body. So whatever we got, or whatever body we have cast off in the past, but the body which we got now, which is going to enter into new, our soul is going to enter into new body after casting off this one. But what kind of body are we going to get? That's the question. When we are going to be born again, where we will be born again. And this is where he explains to him that based on our karmas, we could go to the lower creatures, or based on our good karmas, we could go to the higher conscious level in different bodies, different type of bodies rather than lower creatures. So we can become again the human beings and keep uplifting ourselves again and again. Why it says that we get into human beings, become the body again? Because only the human beings, according to Shastras, it says that have a power, intelligence to uplift them to next level, move upward, gradually toward mokshas, where animals do not have that power. They are not given that boon, but here I call it basically, this is a boon to human beings, that we have an opportunity to uplift ourselves. And it explains here that the human body comes from one body to another body and then continues with good karmas to go to become Atma, jivatma to Mahatma, or Dharma, through by doing Dharmatma, become Mahatma. And from Mahatma, they could merge to Paramatma. So purpose of our life is not just be born, spend our life and die, and then keep going through this cycle and cycle, like being in a classroom or being in a particular grade and keep doing the same thing and studying the same thing over and over and not improving ourselves and keep flunking and keep repeating the same class. We have a choice to do better. Like we have a choice in the class, we can study harder, and when we can be promoted to the next class. Similarly, if we follow our dharma with love and compassion for the benefit of all, follow our prescribed duty, which is called kartavya, and do it with best of our intentions, then we can move on to next and next grades, and finally we graduate. So here it says how to stop the reincarnation cycle. Graduate, 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 study hard, pay attention, live in a consciousness, and don't waste your life on doing the body related, only to the body related. It is important to take care of the body, but only what is needed, not just being so selfish and taking care of our own and just our families, but we live in the society and we have to perform the selfless service for the society and make his creation a better place to live for all, not just for us, but for our generations to come, our children, and for the whole universe. And here, Buddha also said, no matter how hard the past you had, but you can always begin again. And how we can begin again? Being with Lord Krishna's teachings, Bhagavad Gita, following his advice, how to live in this world. And gradually by gradually, we will graduate. We will come to the point where we feel liberated or we are liberated. So the choice is ours. So it is a time for Sankalpa 4. We had the 3 Sankalpas before, and very first Sankalpa was new of me, because it was on New Year. And new of me means, as you just saw, this is Sharira. It's a constantly changing. So we are changing every day. So every day we become newer and better person. And then Sankalpa 2, be Arjuna, not Dhritarashtra, not complaining and crying and having negative attitude all the time and feeling sorry for yourself, but make the best use of your life, have a best company, and ask for advice wherever is needed. So have a divine company in your life and follow his advice, listen to him, follow his advice. And then at the end say, Karishye Vachanam Tav. And then Sankalpa 3, live in awareness. Be Pandit. Know that you are not just the body, but we are the soul. And today's Sankalpa is, yes, I am the soul. I am eternal. And I don't just live for body. I live for the Atma. I live for my soul. So this jivatma, I am a jivatma, which needs to live happy, healthy, and peacefully, but knowing that I am eternal. But one thing we have to keep in mind, that this is not an instant, like we can go to Starbucks and pick up the coffee and instant coffee, or this is a very slow, gradual process. And that's where Lord Krishna says, Shanai Shanai Uppar Mein. Gradually by gradually, you will uplift yourself by putting your intellect, your mind, your body for this purpose. So have a patience. So thank you very much for attending the journey of the soul, and I am eternal. So have a happy, healthy, and peaceful life and experience the Ananda. And now we will go for meditation. And today's Sankalpa is, I am eternal. So thank you very much for attending.